Hello, you guys. Okay, so in this tutorial, I will be explaining how to remove a background from an image. Now, this is really important if you want to put people's pictures on items or a certain type of graphic, or to actually use something as a mock-up. So in this tutorial, I will show you how to move this beautiful lady from her background, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do so. You can use all of these techniques or choose one that works best for you or your image that you are going to be working with. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is that on this side, on your panel side, you are able to quickly go from one tool to another by simply pressing certain keys on your keypad. So the first tool we're going to work with is our quick select tool. So I can either click over here and click quick select tool, or I can press W and it'll bring my quick select tool up. So now I have my quick select tool. And we're going to quickly go over the features here on this bar. You have a plus, which is to add a selection. You have a minus, which is to subtract your selection. And then you have a new selection. We're going to be working with add the selection and subtract the selection, okay? Then right here is your brush size and options for your brush. We will be using different sizes, and the size of your brush will determine how much you will be taking away at a time. If you want to try this very small, you can make it smaller. The harshness is how much it's really going to grab at a time. So we're going to take our harshness down to about 80%, I think is good. And I'm going to leave the size at 60 for now. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just start right up here at her hair, and I'm going to press and hold and just drag straight down. As you can see, it select a pretty good amount of her. Now there are some pieces that, as you can see, that are not there, and I'm simply just going to tap and click on certain places to help fill those in. Want to make sure that you get everything, so you want to look very carefully. Okay, so I got all of that in, and now I'm going to go ahead and add her arms in here. Now, as you can see, her arm fades here to kind of blend in with the background. So I am going to resize my brush, make it smaller to make sure that I am not getting any of that background in mostly just her arm. Now we are able to go back and take some pieces out, of course, with our subtractor tool there. But right now I'm just trying to make sure I got in what I want. Now, as you can see, I've got part of her earring in here, but this part here is not in. Earrings, especially loop earrings, are the hardest to add in. So I wanted to make sure I show you guys this. I'm simply going to just keep adding in here. And as you can see, that background is still there. But I'm not too much worried about it being in the background of her earrings as of right now. I want to keep my flyaways out, so I'm liking this. Too many flyaways are difficult to work with. So yes, I think I'm pretty much happy here. I'm going to press my Z to zoom in, just to make sure everything looks nice. Now right here, I'm going to go back to my quick selector tool and resize my brush to pretty small, so I can, and I'm going to subtract, forgot to subtract, and I'm going to subtract that little piece there. Just try to get it as close to the arm as possible. Now that'll be a little smoother, and I want to subtract here because I don't quite care for this part of her hair. Okay, now for this earring here, I can go in here and play around with this as much as I want here, but I'm not going to play around with it too much, just because for for the sake of time. Okay, so now we have this part not selected, that part selected, and we can just go in here and keep playing around, but I'm going to leave it here. You guys kind of get the gist of what we can do. And I'm going to zoom out. So I have her selected here, as you can see. Go into my selector tool. Make sure I'm in the selector tool. And what I'm going to do is right click, and I am going to press layer. You want to make another layer with this. And as you can see in your layers panel, you have your background separated from the image of the girl. And I'm just going to delete the background. And now what we have here is a picture of our lady. And as you can see, I took the part out there. Now, within a couple more steps, I can sit there and select more pieces and get it just right. But this is definitely one way you can remove the background from an image. Okay, now I'm going to just start all over here. I'm going to go in my history and go all the way back to the beginning. And I want to use another tool. Another tool that you can use is your eraser tool. Now, if in your eraser, if you right click on the image, there's the basic eraser tool, your background eraser tool, and your magic eraser tool. We're going to definitely be using the background eraser tool. Now, what I really like about the background eraser tool is that you're able to use it like an eraser, but the cool thing about it is that it senses the different colors, and whatever you target, it will erase that shade of colors, okay? So we want to make sure that it's on our target here with just a little one eyedropper. The double eyedropper, it is for every time you left click, it will choose another color selection and only erase those colors. And so it would definitely give you a hard time. I noticed that this one is much easier. Left click and hold, and whatever color you have selected, it will erase all of those colors within your backdrop, okay? In your background, I said background. In your limits here, you do not want it on discontinuance. Discontinuance, you can use discontinuance. Whenever you use it, it will only remove outside of certain lines. So if you have very firm lines, it will only remove the color from within those lines. Now, your continuous, if you choose a color, let's say in my background it is a gray color, it will get rid of everything that is in that gray tone, okay? And then if you have really straight edges, you can use the fine edge tool. But I mean, limits, your fine edge limits. But we're going to put it on continuous. And now we're going to determine how much of the color range we're going to use. I am just going to boost it up to 15. And this is kind of a tester that you would do per each image. And I like to keep the range very, very small because this is determining how much of that color you will be taking away. And I am going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to go zoom in first, just so we can really see what's going on here. And I'm going to start right up here at the hair. I'm going to go back to my eraser tool. And as you can see, my eraser tool is quite big. I am going to make it a little bit smaller. Let's see, let's go with this. And I am going to select here, and I'm going to press and hold. And as you can see, it is erasing the background and leaving all of the hair, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so I'm simply going to just go across here, and it's going to take away just what I need it to. And I think my 15% is doing well here. I don't feel like it's taking any of the hair away. Now, I'm taking away gray colors. I'm not sure if once I get to this earring, if it's going to take away any of my earring. Oh, no, yes, it did. It did. So what I did is I just pressed Control Z to back up a little bit. So it's going to take away some of my earring because it's in a whitish gray tone. So what I want to do is decrease this just a bit. I'm going to decrease it to 6, and then I'm going to go over. All right, yes, I went over and it did not take any of my earring this time, which is amazing. So we're going to keep it at that. Just going around here. Now, one thing about this tool is that the lower your percentage is, the less of coloring you have, and so it'll only take away colors that are pretty much exact to what you're clicking on. So as I'm clicking here, of course, it's going to take away all of that, but it is not going to take away anything that is too lighter or too dark of whatever color I have clicked on. Okay, this is really good to get exact around the hair. What's really good as well on this is if I click in on, let's say I'm going to click in the gray, and I'm going to come all the way down here. It is not going to remove any of my black, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to the hair. And I am going to bring this back up to 15 because it did very, very well with the hair at 15. And I'm going to just completely go around her hair with this percentage. And the best thing about this one is that if you did want to keep the flyaways, unlike the other way of doing it, you can keep more of your flyaways definitely in this one. This one takes a little bit more time, which is the reason why that one is considered to be a quick selector tool. And this one is a background eraser tool. It's because it does take a little bit more work. Just for the sake of time, I am going to roughly go around this. Let me zoom out. And then I'm going to go back into my eraser, and I'm going to make my eraser size just a little bit bigger. If I want to speed this up once I get closer to her body, as you can see. All right, and then I'm going to change the percentage of this just a little bit more. And get that out. Now, right in this, right in this area here, I can change my limits to the fine edge just to get more of this away quicker. Because by it being her arm, it's not going to, her arm is pretty much a solid color, minus the tattoos, and so I'm able to kind of go across there pretty easily. Okay, I'm going to go back to continuous. Okay, I'm just going to go and clean this up. Now that I've went all the way around her, and I know you're probably thinking, do I have to sit there and erase all of this background? And the answer is you do not. What I like to do once I get to this phase here is to make sure that I went all the way around, and I notice that I have not, so I'm just going to go here and make sure I get that off. But what I like to do is make sure that I went all the way around. Yep, I messed up there, trying to go too fast. Make sure I've went all the way around. And have really taken out, and I realized I got some of her arm, but you guys get the picture. I wouldn't be going as fast if I was doing an actual project or order for someone. Okay, but now that I have this here, I am able to now take her out of this. It's my magnet lasso. Now with the magnet lasso, you will left click and just follow the lines of your image. And I'm going to roughly follow these lines because I have already taken out my background, but you are going to follow the lines of your image. And that one did not do so well. And then once you get back around, you now have a full image and you're able to cut this out. And you have your person here. Now there's a piece that was missing. I'm going to add that in, make a copy. And there you go. You can just take this right on over to your image. I am going to backtrack just a little bit more here. Back here, back to this. And I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. Let's see, I am going to erase more of my background. Just erase more of it to get it out of my way. Erase, erase, erase. Okay, now that I've erased some of this, I'm going to use my marquee tool, and I am simply just going to start at one edge, go over and up, and I'm going to select the whole person here. Yes, I have some of my background, but it's not going to be nowhere near as much. Okay, so once you have selected with your marquee tool, make sure you go back and select this. And I am simply going to cut, because you see now it has the little scissors there, so it knows that I'm going to cut this image out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click, hold, and I am simply going to drag this right on over to my design. Here I have my design. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it fits into my design. We can see what we're doing here. But now I have my design, and I can take my image and use right click and use my regular eraser tool and just erase that part of the background that I brought in. There's so many different ways you can take out the background of an image. What I suggest, you find the one that works best for you and you take your time to make sure that you have removed everything that you want to remove from the background. If you have any questions on how to use any of these, feel free to go into our group page and ask as many questions as you would like. I wanted to give you guys a full finished product here. So I'm just gonna, oh boy, I clicked on there. Going too fast, going too fast. Sorry. So as you can see, I'm even messing up here, but it's very, very easy to go back and correct the problems that you have made by simply pressing your Command Z or Control Z keys. Okay, so of course I would make this much, much better, but for the sake of time, we're going to leave her just like this. I am going to make her a little bit smaller. And if this was my design, then this would be it. Now, what I like to do with my images, and this is just me giving you a little bit of bonus here. I have taken my image and I'm going to double click in my layers where my image is, and it's going to bring up my layer style bar, and I am going to add an outer glow to her. And I'm going to adjust this outer glow because I don't want it very, very harsh or very, very big. And I'm just going to kind of work with it there. So what I did is I have it at a screen of 38 and a size of 10. And it kind of gives her that little outer glow. And then you're also able to not see as much of the imperfections. Now that I am done with my cutting, I am going to merge my layers together. You can always go up to layers, then merge layers, or you can press your quick command keys and it will do that as well. I have merged all my layers together here. Now I'm going to left click and hold, and I'm going to It wouldn't allow me. So I'm going to left click now and hold and drag this right on to our water mop. Okay. Then I am going to size this down and place this right in front of our bottle of water. Now, some people leave it just like this to show what all sides of the label looks like. It all depends on my design. This design is repetitive all the way around, so the most important part is what's in the front. So what I'm going to do is go over here to my layers, right click, and go to create clipping mask. And that is simply going to clip the top image down onto the bottom image, and you have a mock-up to show your customer and client. I hope this helped you guys, and you feel free to go back over this again and again. Practice to perfect the removal of the backgrounds. And just to quickly recap, you can use your quick selection tool to remove the images from its background. You can use the background eraser tool. You can use your lasso tool as well as your marquee tool, all to get things done. You can mix them together, use just one or the other. It is completely up to you.